I've used my fair share of mouse pads. I've pretty much tried it all at this point. From ones you find at Best Buy to the sketchy AliExpress orders that show up always smelling pretty weird. Some are buttery smooth, and others are gritty and textured. A few track like a dream, and some feel like you're dragging your mouse through sandpaper. So after going through all these, I started to wonder, how are mouse pads made and what actually makes them good? What makes one feel fast, another feel controlled, and some feel like complete garbage? Luckily, I made some friends over at X-raypad, and they were more than happy to pull back the curtain, send us a few mouse pads, and show us exactly how these things are made. Before we get a finished product like this, we typically start with something like that. A mousepad is really divided into two different parts during the manufacturing process. On top, we have the stitch fabric, which for X-raypad is typically a Munson fabric. And this is just a style that the fabric is woven into, not its own material like cotton, nylon, or polyester. A Munson takes either cotton or polyester as a base, then weaves the fibers in a specific way to make the surface extra smooth, uniform, and low friction. Fun fact, this is the same type of stuff you might find on cosplay outfits. You nerds. Brands like X-raypad produce patterns on some of their products, like their signature honeycomb stitch, which is actually woven into the fabric. The stitching is ultra low profile and almost invisible to the eye, but by putting it under a macro lens, you can see the micro honeycomb pattern. I mean, you can see it with your eye too, it's just like way more visible this way. This allows X-raypad to dial in each mouse pad in their lineup, giving users different options. The more prominent the stitching is, the more friction you'll feel on your mouse pad. If you want a pad with more control, which basically just means a rougher texture, then you'll want something with a more pronounced pattern. If you want a pad that's faster and glides smoother to the touch, you want something like this guy right here. All these mouse pads, they started as large blank sheets of unprinted fiber bonded with a base, and that base is typically made of two different materials. Enter the rubber base formation. I don't know, I got a minute here to kill. Using heat and pressure, the fabric surface is carefully laminated to a base. This base typically comes in two different flavors. First, we have the traditional rubber, which, you really need an explanation for that? It actually grows on trees, you know that, right? It actually grows on trees. The second is polyurethane, which is obviously a man-made polymer, and therefore superior in every way. I'm just kidding, it boils down to personal preference, right? Kidding. It boils down to user preference and budget with polyurethane. Polyurethane usually costing more money, but you can do some pretty cool stuff with it. X-raypad creates a honeycomb pattern on the bottom of their poly pads to improve the anti-slip properties. The polyurethane uses molds and heat to get it to the right thickness, flexibility, and grip. The base provides comfort, support, and anti-slip while being flexible enough to roll up or to ship flat. Once the top is laminated to the base, the mouse pad blank it's so close to being done, guys. It's so close. There's just another step you gotta do first. Okay, so this was the most surprising to me because I always thought it was a machine that was doing this. No, believe it or not, there's a dude who's doing this and edge stitching all these mouse pads by hand. A skilled professional is required for stowing a stitched edge. This of course delivers a specific look, but importantly, it prevents the end of your mouse pad from fraying, which is something we all can agree is super important. I really can't get over that a person has to do this. For the entirety of my existence, I always thought it was a machine. I really thought you just like press a button. It just would go and do it for you. But it gives me a whole new level of appreciation for the people in these factories making some high quality mouse pads for us to spill our coffees and our foods on and then ruin and then have to buy another. And hey, if you guys want to know how to clean your mouse pad, leave a comment, let me know. After the stitching is applied, we get to dress up the mouse pad with some graphics. But before anything is loaded up, both the mouse pad and the printed sheet are manually inspected to make sure there are no defects. You don't want defects. Use your eyes. This is probably the coolest part of the entire process in my humble opinion. The graphics are transferred onto the mousepad via dye sublimation. Now, these aren't just printed on, right? No. Dye sublimation is a completely different process than printing, and it's what you should look for in a mousepad. This process involves special ink that turns into a gaseous state under heat and pressure, bonding it with the material's fibers. This penetrates and embeds the ink into the fibers at a molecular level without changing the feel of our mousepad. Basically, you can think of this as a tattoo for your mousepad. It's incredibly strong, long-lasting, and you can't wash it off. Plus, we get the benefit of being able to use very high-quality graphics for our decals. Sometimes manufacturers will put a coating on, like the hydrophobic coatings. You'll see that from time to time. Sometimes they won't, but it's, you know, really up to what you're looking for in your mousepad. If you're spilling Mountain Dew regularly, you might want that. That's who I am.
I want that to be in the final cut. That whole thing.
Once the graphic is added and it cures for a short amount of time, it's packaged and shipped off to a happy home with somebody who's going to neglect and abuse it. And I gotta say, when you get it, at least the one I have here, the results are very visually stunning. I love it. Love it. By using dye sublimation, we're getting the highest quality graphics on our mousepad. This artwork right here, this one, it's called Cerberus, and it almost feels wrong dragging my mouse across something that looks this good. It's worth mentioning that I had the opportunity to create my own mousepad. Check this out right here. And my awesome graphic designer wife created a 100% original graphic for us to use. You can see all the small details captured in the dye sublimation process. It's really cool that X-raypad managed to make something like this from my wife's original design, and I'm completely stoked on how great it looks. This is the first time I've ever received something with my logo on it, and it's pretty inspiring. For anyone curious, they managed to turn it around pretty quick too. Once you upload your design, they send you a proof and you get to approve it or, you know, make any changes you want. But after that point, it takes about a week or so to get it to your door, which is like, that's ridiculously quick, right? They're manufacturing it, they're printing it on there, not printing, they're dye sublimating it on there, and it gets to your door. In case you want to design your own mousepad, I've included a link down in the description. There you have it, guys. The entire process of making a mousepad from start to finish. Big shout out to X-raypad for letting us peek behind the curtain and walk through the process with them. These guys live and breathe mousepads, and I mean, look at all these different mousepads they sent me. They're all truly such high quality. Hopefully you've got a new appreciation for what's under your hand every single day. There's a lot of hard work and a lot of very talented people creating these for us. I've always been curious about the process, and it was just so awesome to work with them, especially on something that's educational. I like putting educational pieces out there for you guys. If you've got any questions, thoughts, or you just want to flex your custom design, drop a comment down below. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. Click the subscribe button, and until next time, GG.